All hell broke loose when their deadliest alien albino dragon witnessed the torture of a human girl. They called her Specter, the deadliest albino dragon the galaxy had ever created, grown in secret military labs on Harnax Prime, taller than a shuttle, armored in shimmering white scales, and born to destroy entire battalions with her voice alone. Specter was no pet, no creature of loyalty or affection. She was war incarnate, unleashed only when the Coalition forces had no other option, and they never let her see weakness. Until that day, on the remote moon outpost of Varela 7, a rebellion had erupted. A ragged group of escaped human colonists had been hiding there, out of reach of the central governments who had trafficked and experimented on them. Among them was Ilya, a 17-year-old girl with a healing touch and a voice that sang like wind through trees. She had grown up in the shadow of war, quietly tending to wounded rebels and comforting frightened children. She had never fired a weapon, but she had seen horrors. The Coalition caught her when she ventured out for food. They brought her back to the main facility, and they made her an example. Specter had been brought to Varela 7 days before, sealed inside a seismic vault, reinforced with gravity clamps and neural suppressors. She hadn't been used in years. Too unpredictable, too emotional. But rumors of the rebels reaching weapons caches forced the Coalition's hand. They activated her with caution, kept her muzzled, fed her only through mechanical dispensers. But they forgot one thing. Specter could see. Her vault had a clear observation panel, supposedly one way, for researchers to study her. But Specter had long since learned to peer through that illusion, and through it, she saw the girl. Ilya was dragged into the courtyard below the dragon's vault, shackled, bruised, her tunic torn. Coalition soldiers jeered at her, accused her of treason, sabotage, harboring infected thoughts. She didn't speak. Even when the electric lash struck her, she didn't scream, but Specter felt her pain, heard it not with ears, but in the tremble of her soul, a resonance the dragon hadn't sensed in years, a cry not of fear, but a betrayal, of sorrow. And then Ilya sang. Her lips moved, cracked and bleeding, yet her voice came soft, defiant, like a lullaby to no one. It shattered something inside the dragon. Her eyes went wide. Her body tensed. The vault walls trembled with pressure, and when one soldier grabbed Ilya by the throat, the scream that erupted from the vault cracked the sky. The outpost power grid shorted instantly. Security clamps overloaded, and Specter exploded out of her prison in a cyclone of fury and fire. The reinforced walls shattered like paper. Steel buckled beneath her claws. Her roar drowned out the sirens, the screams, the alarms. She was not the ghostly, silent killer the Coalition designed her to be. She was vengeance. The soldiers who had tortured Ilya didn't even have time to flee. One sweep of her tail sent bodies flying. The commander, who had ordered the execution, vaporized under a blast of searing plasma breath that scorched half the courtyard. Specter landed beside the girl, her massive head nudging Ilya's limp form. She growled, low and rumbling, like a mother mourning a wounded hatchling. Ilya stirred. Her eyes fluttered open and she smiled. "You came," she whispered, and Specter wept. What followed was recorded in broken video feeds and terrified survivor logs. Specter ripped apart the entire base, not for bloodlust, but to destroy every cage, every lab, every dark place where screams had echoed. She freed human prisoners, alien test subjects, even discarded prototypes. She chose to save. When Coalition reinforcements arrived, she didn't retreat. She rose into the sky with Ilya gently cradled on her back, and unleashed hell. She tore apart gunships in midair. Her wings shredded fighter drones. Turrets turned to molten slag. Nothing the military threw at her could land a killing blow, because Specter had something she'd never had before. A reason. Hours later, the outpost burned behind her. Specter soared over the wild hills of Varela 7, her white scales streaked with soot and blood. Ilya lay on her back, wrapped in a warm patch of the dragon's soft neck, eyes wide with wonder. "You're beautiful," she whispered. Specter let out a quiet chirp, not a roar, not a threat, but a greeting. The mighty weapon of the Coalition, the feared apex predator of 12 systems, had chosen a girl. Word spread fast. Rebel colonies called it a miracle, a holy reckoning. Coalition leadership called it a disaster. They tried to spin the story, say Specter had malfunctioned, that the girl was a terrorist controlling her with psychic tech. But the survivors, those freed from the outpost, told the truth. The dragon knew. The dragon chose. The dragon loved. Specter was no longer a weapon. She was a protector. And Ilya? She became the voice for those the galaxy had thrown away. The broken. The forgotten. She rode atop the great dragon, wings casting shadows over battlefields, not to fight, but to end wars before they began. 1 year later, on a green moon where refugees gathered in peace, a statue was raised, a towering dragon with wings outstretched, and at her side, a small human girl, hand on her snout. The plaque beneath it read, "She watched them break her, so she broke the world to save her."